Then we moved to Jarin Stevenson, and Jarin Stevenson was actually one that we were a little bit, for people that were in the know, were a little bit more concerned about Jarin than they even were Mark, right? When you started to hear Mark and Oates, some things mentioned about Mark, it was, hey, if he doesn't get a guaranteed contract, he's probably back. And when you know the way the NBA works, it kind of seemed obvious to a lot of people, no fault to Mark, but that he was probably going to be getting a two-way. And so it felt like Mark coming back was a real possibility. However, with Jarin, you started to hear, and it's similar to what you heard with Noah Clowney. Clowney obviously started the whole season, and so it was a little bit different circumstances. He was a little bit better rebounder and defender. So obviously not apples to apples. But at the end of the day, Jarin Stevenson was a reclassification. So Jarin Stevenson is 19 years old. When somebody like that is looking at the NBA, just due to the way that the NBA is, they're often going to look at a prospect that's much younger as somebody that they can mold, as somebody that has untapped potential. When you look at the body type and the archetype of Jarin Stevenson, he's 6'9", 6'10". He's really a stretch four. He only shot just under 32% last season, so didn't have the best shooting year, but you can clearly see the offense and the shot is there. So it's a standpoint of Jarin Stevenson, was somebody that you knew the NBA teams would absolutely, be taking a look at. You just weren't sure if he had done quite enough to be a first-round pick like a Clowney, or if he was going to fall to second round. The thought was probably second round, and then the question is Jarin going to return similar to Mark? You had heard a little bit less from Jarin. All the information when he first entered was he's absolutely back. He's just getting information. He's absolutely back. Then you started hearing a few rumors. Some teams were really interested. The age was playing a big part. The athleticism was playing a big part. So there was a little bit of a cause for concern. But, he held firm. At the end of the day, Jarin was looking to know what he needed to get better at to be able to be a draftable prospect in the coming seasons. And I think an extra season under Nate Oates' wing will be absolutely great for him. Similar to Grant Nelson, having guys like Aiden Sherrill and Cliff Amore is going to absolutely help Jarin, because there were moments, and also just playing a full season is going to help Jarin. When you look at Jarin early season last season, like a Clemson game, he was getting bullied off the block. Teams knew that, hey, we got this guy that was a reclass from high school. He's not physical enough. And Ian Shefflin from Clemson just put his shoulder down and just went right through him. Then you saw what happened in the Clemson game in the Elite Eight. Jarin has one of his best games in Crimson, probably his best game in Crimson the whole time, right? So it's a standpoint of Jarin grew so much last season. And I think that the physicality, the size, the body, having other guys to be able to work with and work off of, namely, like I said, Grant, Cliff, Aiden, all these guys, I think will make Jarin better. So you have a front court that you've got to be really, really happy about, because you've got two true fours and you've got two true fives. And it's just absolutely great when you have that, because the versatility of those guys will be absolutely massive. So really quick,